My story is incredible, actually. It was life-saving. It was a blessing. And it was an act of God because I was in 2000, I think 17. I'm not sure. It's been so many years now. I was misdiagnosed with bronchitis first because one night I was sitting up watching television. I had smoked cigarettes at the time and I coughed and blood came up. Scared the heck out of me. So then I went to the doctor. They diagnosed me with bronchitis because I had a history of it. So a month later, I was still coughing the blood. So I went back. They diagnosed me with bronchitis with a touch of pneumonia. They treated me for it. Nothing happened. Nothing worked. I went to the hospital emergency room. They did a ultrasound and they seen fluids in my lung. They did an x-ray and seen a shadow. Then they did a CAT scan and they seen a 9 centimeter, I think they said it was a 9 centimeter tumor. So then they did a biopsy and it was small cell lung cancer. So then I laid on my side, waiting to be treated, tossing from side to side for at least 30 to 60 days before I even got treated because I was scared. I didn't want to face this cancer because, you know, as soon as you hear cancer, you think death. So I laid on my side, turning from side to side, coughing blood. My fiance, who was still with me at the time, Sheila, used to take the bag because I used to spit the blood into a garbage bag, and she would always tie it up because the smell, it would smell up the room and stuff. So finally, my daughter said to me, "Dad, you're being very selfish." She said, "You're thinking about yourself and not about your daughters. Taylor's getting married. She wants you to give her away. Jasmine's getting married. She wants you to give her away." And that, when she said to me I was selfish, I had to let go of the fears of being treated, and I started to go to get treated. When I met the oncologist, my first words to her was, "Listen," I told her, I said, "My name is Cary Berry," and I seen her name, and I said to her, I said, "I want you to know that I pray on everything." I said, "I'm a true believer in God and a very spiritual person. And I have prayed and asked God to send me to the doctors that he gave the know-how and knowledge to help me, send them to me and me to them. And I was sent to you." She sat down and she said, "I feel the same way." She was a spiritual person as well. So she started treatment with me. I started treatment. I was going to the infusion building, getting my chemotherapy. The chemotherapy killed the tumor in my lung, but it didn't kill the cancer that spread to my adrenal gland and to my brain. So Grace said to me, "We're going to try you with immunotherapy." She tried immunotherapy. The immunotherapy started to kill my heart. One day, this is what God did for me. The one day that I was down to 100 pounds and I had no energy, my daughter took off work because she worked for a cancer center too, to take me to my treatment. I was in a wheelchair that day, and Marianne, my daughter, talked with my oncologist and asked her, "Did you check my dad's troponin blood level?" And she said, she looked up at the sky and she said, "You know what, Mr. Berry, we're going to send you back down for same day blood work." So I go down, Marianne take me. So when I come back up, after that hour went by, because it take an hour for the results of the blood work, they all came running in. "Where does it hurt? Where does it hurt?" I'm like, "What are you talking about? What's going on?" I said, "I have no pain." They said, "You're having a heart attack right now." I said, "No, I'm not." I said, "I'm talking to my girl about what we gonna cook for dinner." And they poking and prodding me, right? And then Grace said, "Well, you can't go home." I said, "Why?" She said, "'Cause you die." I said, "Well, I guess I won't be going home." So they rushed me to Buffalo General. The cardiologist team did a full makeover of my heart to make sure wasn't no permanent damage done to the muscles in my heart. Listen, when they did it, they said I was good to go. At the same time, they did what they call it when they put the stents in, angiogram. And I was nervous at that. I was half out. I felt when they slit my wrist, The blood hit my palm. He stick the thing up my arm. And he said, oh, got a good one. I said, what do you mean? He said, you're good. You don't need no stents. So when they sent me back up, here's the miracle of God. When they thought I was dying, when I was in my hospital bed and Grace came up there at 12:30 midnight to see me, I'm looking, I'm like, Grace, what you doing here? She said, listen, she pulled a chair up to my bed. She said, I'm sorry that this happened to you. She said, but I came to tell you that 90% of the cancer has been removed from your body. I said, oh, that's great. What are we going to do about the other 10%? So then she left. The very next day, my oncologist visited me again with her jaw to the ground. And I said, what are you doing here again? And she looked at me and said, Mr. Berry, as soon as you leave here, you need to come to my office immediately. I'm like, why? She said, we can't find a speck of cancer nowhere in your body. And I contribute that to God, because God is the creator who gives life. He gives life and he gives idea. Idea comes to man. We create and do things with our hands. We help one another. We build things. So all things to me are in God through God. And I'm a true believer in that, because like they tell me, I can't even say the name. They tell me, they said, we know you're here. We're talking to you, but we cannot explain why and we don't know how. Because in their history, they said there's never been one documented person who has survived what I have survived. Small cell lung cancer that metastasized, moved to my adrenal gland and to my brain, where I had chemotherapy, immunotherapy, and the gamma knife surgery to my brain. They said there's never been a documented case in their history. And as far as they know, and that's why they look at me now when I go there like I'm a ghost, like I'm not supposed to be here. And when I look at them and I say, God, I guess, I was always told scientists don't believe in God, but they won't say God. But they'll say this to me. They say, I'll tell you one thing, Mr. Berry, someone's looking out for you. So who would it be? Don't be afraid to say God. I love God. He's my creator. He's my giver. He's your giver. He takes care of us all. And yes, that's my story. And that's a miracle of God right there. No, they don't even call me by my first name. They call me the miracle. Throughout the whole hospital, they call me the miracle. And then I was speaking with Dr. Gerow, and I was telling him how when I was going through the fusion building and getting my chemo and the immunotherapy, it was so many people. Sorry. So many sick people. And I would sit there, and me and Sheila, and we would have tea, coffee, and God used to poke. And he would tell me to get up and bring people together and pray. And I used to do that. And they all loved it. They loved it. But he touched my heart and he touched my life. And I hope that he touched other people's heart and life the same way. And that's my story.